Hey traders, it's me again with a brand new video. I hope you all guys are okay and you are having a wonderful weekend. I hope I'm not boring you with my videos. If I am, please SMS stop on the comments. Just joking, but yeah guys, I want us to have a recap of what happened in the previous week. Why did I take certain pairs? What exactly did I see? So I'm going to share my mind, and hopefully you guys are going to learn something very important. So this week I was focusing mainly on OD pairs, and I traded OD USD, OD card, and Euro odd. So these are the only three pairs that I managed to trade, and I was trading on two accounts. So the other account was running OD USD and OD card, and the other one had all three. But now someone might ask and say, why are you only trading OD pairs? So this all goes down into your trading plan. What exactly do you want to focus on this coming week? And I'd seen that Euro USD, GBP USD, they had already moved, and you should have seen, you would have seen when I traded Euro USD intraday just for that particular day, and I got my good pips right there, and that was it. But on the focus on 4 hour, for me it was the OD pairs. So what I do in a week, I do look at intraday setups as well. If I don't have anything else to trade, I do take them, but I need that one pair that I can focus on for the rest of the week, that one pair that I can enter a buy or a sell on and just let it roll until the end of the week preferably. So my focus was on these three pairs, and on Euro odd I didn't really get too much out of it because it started its buy a little bit late. But yeah, I did get a few pips there. So from OD card I got around that is 140 pips because I entered on that ID50 there, and on Euro odd I got around 90 pips because I entered on the ID50 as well. And then on OD USD, this one I took it a little bit late. That was the following day, so I only rigged around 116 pips. But yeah, that is it guys. So now what did I see? So I'm gonna try and explain those concepts that we talk about every now and then, and I hope you guys are going to learn something out of this. Okay, so if you look at OD USD, something that struck my eye was that after my analysis I realized that XXX USD pairs were supposed to be selling, and USD XXX we're supposed to be buying. So one thing that I saw there was that EU and GU were already on level 1, so that means they had already moved. So I did expect that at some point they were supposed to consolidate when they get somewhere. So these were already on level 1, but OD USD was still at level 3 peak, and NU, which is NZD USD, was already at level 1, and OD card, which also correlates positively with these pairs, was also at level 3 peak. So I knew that since these have already moved, then it means I have good setups on these two. So if I take these two, I am going to get so much out of them. So this is why then I took them with confidence. Now if you look, you'll find the dealer marked the first leg here. I'm going to show you this on the 1 hour chart as well, so you can see and appreciate what I am talking about. So let's just quickly go to the 1 hour chart so you can see. So from the 1 hour chart, this is what you can see. You've got a whole cycle uptrend over there, and I did predict that the market was actually at level 3, and I expected to see the market actually change direction and go down. So this was a very good opportunity for me. So immediately when I saw the first leg of the peak formation, then I knew that we're gonna have the second leg, and unfortunately I got busy with something else, and so I couldn't catch this. So the next time when I saw this pair, it had already moved on that particular day, so which I also understand, and I knew that tomorrow I was supposed to take what we call a safety trade. I'm gonna teach about that on a different day, what we call a safety trade. But yes, so I was anticipating now that the market has to trade back into the 50 EMA and then give us a setup from there. So when I get this setup, at the back of my mind, I know that I'm trading a safety trade, and at the same time I'm trading a bounce on the 50. I know some people might think this is an ID50, but it's not really an ID50 because the ID50 did appear at this point right here. However, you can still treat it as an ID50 if you then gauge this low as the low that was broken right here, because remember this is a multi-day M, so you'll find you've got a neckline there, you've got a neckline there, you've got a neckline there, and you've got another small neckline there and right there. So there's like different necklines. So you'll find that one was gonna be an ID50, probably on an M15, but yes, this was also an ID50 as well. But whichever it is, I knew that the market was supposed to trade into the M50 right there. So I was so ready for it, and let's just look at the 15 minutes time frame and see how this unfolded. So if you look at the 15 minutes time frame, remember what I always say: do not trade until the dealer hit the stops and wait for setups to appear. Now if you look at your peak formation, right, on this day of your peak formation, your setup, if you were to take this sell, actually appeared at yesterday's high. Remember what I said about where setups form? It actually appeared at yesterday's high. So that means you could have taken this M formation right here. You could have taken it right there as a sell and keep on holding. And I know the dealer was gonna trade back into the range and give you another M again, and you keep holding, or maybe it takes you out and you re-enter again at close of 13 EMA, or maybe you entered on this one, whichever. So there were so many numerous entries depending on what time you saw the price, and then price traded away from you. Then beginning of the following day then price came back, because remember there is no 200 EMA inside at this point in time. So most of your setups are going to be relying on ADR, high or low, and previous high or low. So that's where you're gonna see your setups form, or maintaining the Asian high or low, depending with the direction of the market. Now then on the next day, as you can see, this is where you got your first leg immediately inside, just in the last phase of the Asian session. And because this is odd USD, odd on its own is an Asian pair, so that is why sometimes you'll find the leg is gonna be inside the session. All right, now then you see your second leg. So that means if you had missed this day, you had a chance to then take it on this day. Now this day, probably, maybe let's say you missed it again, or this part you missed up there, you could have taken an ID50 right there and go down with the market. And let's just say all of this you missed it, just like me, since I also didn't see all of this. then that will mean the following day, since we're expecting a safe to trade an ID50, all we wanted was the market to trade towards the 200 EMA. So now, because we have the 200 EMA in sight, then that means now we need to start expecting setups. Now look at what the dealer does. The dealer marks the high of the Asian, the low of the Asian during that time, and the dealer buys up outside the Asian. Now look at what it does. This is what makes people make mistakes in trading, lose, and all those sort of things. All right, so you are seeing all these green candles right here, and you're thinking to yourself, maybe this is a reset. Okay, now fair enough, you're thinking this is a reset, but remember what we said when we started. EU is actually where? Already on level 1, and there is no signs of it resetting, right? GU is on level 1 and no signs of it resetting. NU is on level 1 and no signs of it resetting. Now that takes us back to correlation disparity of pairs, right? So now that means you then do not expect AUD/USD to then start buying its way up when these guys are actually dropping. And they actually dropped very hard the previous day, such that it was so difficult for you then to say AUD/USD is actually going to buy. However, if you've got your reservations, right, you entered the previous day, you've got reservations, you can actually hold and just wait and see what the market is actually going to do. Okay, so on this particular day, the market then actually hold on a second. I think I entered on this day because I was actually in when all of this was happening. Yeah, I entered on this particular day when I saw this ID50 right here. So all this was happening when I was already in the market. So on this particular day, the market swept the high of the Asian session right there, and then came down and swept the low of the Asian session. Now remember, we need a setup, so the setup hasn't appeared. Now look at what happens after all that having been done. Then the market comes and issues you a setup. Now look and see the importance of patience. All right, now someone might say, okay, what if I haven't seen this, but I have seen this? All right, it's still the same thing. What it means is you've got your first leg and then you've got your second leg. So whether you enter here or you enter here or you enter here, it's still the same thing. It's as good as you entered at the same point. I don't know if that makes sense. It's as good as you entered in the same area. So whatever you see first, so even if you had seen this M with that nice pin bar there, you were going to take your sell from there, and then price will start buying against you for a little while and then start selling in your direction. Now that was very good because that is the setup that we saw. Now look how interesting it becomes on the following day. So on the following day, we do not have a setup. Now this is what I always talk about when I say, guys, always wait for setups. Now on the following day, we do not have a setup. Remember the London patterns that I taught you. The dealer never broke the high, never went to the 200 EMA. What he simply did was come out of the Asian, go back to test the 50 and the 800, and then continue its way down. So that's a straightaway trade. The dealer never gave you a setup on this particular day, and those are the things that I always say, avoid them. All right, now on the last day, the news day, which I knew was definitely going to be a sell anyway, to complete the trend. All right, the dealer never gave you a setup again. The dealer just continued until news and also dropped as well. So now you realize that you only have 2, if not 3 days only where you could have entered. So the only days you could have taken setups was day number 1, reason being the yesterday's high type 2, all right? And day number 2, reason being yesterday's high set up outside the Asian, type 2 again. And day number 3, which is the setup here in the 200 EMA, being a safe to trade, being an IT50. So these are the only 3 days when you were supposed to enter, or where you were going to get a setup. So on this day there's no setup, on this day there's no setup. So let's say you're only trading odd USD, you don't trade anything else, and you're an intraday trader. It simply means you only had 3 days to trade for the whole week. Now I'm sure you now appreciate and understand the reason why I always say trade only 3 days a week. That is exactly what I mean. Something like this, all right? So you're only trading this pair. Now you only have 3 days of setups. All right, now to keep our video short, let's go on to the next pair. Okay, so our next pair in this case is going to be order card. Order card is going to be pretty simple and very quick. So this one, this one we discussed it with my student after sending it, and because it was a little bit behind or the USD, it was actually very interesting and I really loved it, to be honest. And I still expect it to drop one last time. So this one is pretty clear as well. If you look from the 1 hour time frame, you can see your peak formation right there. All right, peak formation right there, your first leg on this day. Okay, that is where your first leg is. So they gave you a peak in 1 day. These are the types of peak that I always say, do not trade them. Now look what they did. On the following day, they came back to the same area because they wanted to give you a multi-day peak, which is exactly what we identify with. All right. Now, after doing that, so where were you expecting the setup the following day? So this is the day of the peak where they formed you an M on H1. So where do you expect the setup the following day? At yesterday's high. Can you imagine how this always keep repeating itself over and over again? Yesterday's high, type 2. All right. Now, if you had missed this, you could have caught what? The ID50. You could have caught what? The second hit on the 50. You can call it the bounce on the 50. All right. And just trade away. And now the good thing about this one is they never came back. So they just went away. They never came back. And on the following day, just like odd USD, I expected them to trade towards the 200 EMA. And again, they give you the exact same thing. Remember what I said about correlation? They give you the exact same thing. Strip the high of the Asian, strip the low, and then give you the setup. And you take a sell from there. And the dealer just quickly goes down. Now on the following day, no setup. On the following day, now this one becomes interesting because I added positions here before news. I was so convinced this was going to be a sell. Added positions and I went to sleep and I woke up in very good profit. Now, it actually gave you a good setup. So before we discuss this setup on this particular day, let's discuss how all this turned out. Now, you could have taken a trade on day 1, day 2, day 3, no trade on this day. Remember what I said about level 3 pairs, level 3, type 3, sorry. Look at that. That's type 3. So that you do not trade. Now, so you had a type 2 there. It doesn't matter even if it breaks a little bit. I can see there it broke a little bit. You can call it type 1 or type 2. It's all up to you. I don't care about the names. I'm just trying to show you how it's supposed to be. All right. So type 2, type 1, it doesn't matter. It's exactly what you need to trade. So they all look pretty similar sometimes, but sometimes, yeah, type 1 does stop and further away from that Asian box. All right. So that's type 2, and on this particular day, again, another type 2. All right. So you could have expected all these type 2s, and then on this day you've got type 3, which is the day we are not trading. Then on this day a type 2, okay, and then you go your way down during news. Now this day, which is the last day, it's very interesting. I've never seen a perfect setup as this one. Now look at this. The market comes out of the Asian session, marks the high, marks the low. Look at how they never even interacted with the low of the Asian session outside it. They just continued to stay in that area there. Look at that. And the only thing they did was to touch the 200 EMA, closed all candles below the 200 EMA, all right, and gave you first leg, went down and gave you second leg. Now this is where you were supposed to take your sell, okay? And what happens next? A small sell, small sell, and then news, boom, you're gone. That's exactly how you are going to attack this one. This is a very good type 2 kind of a setup that I always talk about. Guys, this repeats itself over and over again. If you watch my video until the end and go and check on other pairs on the charts, you will understand how easy this is, and I'm telling you, you're going to improve yourself in trading. All right, now euro odd. This one was a little bit tricky. Number one, in the sense that it hasn't really moved much. So the only thing that you have here is only your first leg, your second leg. So you could have entered in yesterday's high, sorry, yesterday's low. This is a buy. So you could have entered in yesterday's low. So that's a type 1, type 2, whatever. Okay. And then on the following day, they issue you an ID50. Now notice how the 200 EMA moves nicely across there. And then they gave you what seemingly looks like a type 3. Now, this kind of type 3 I will gladly take because the 200 EMA is in sight. What does that mean? It simply means when I go to H1, that is actually an ID50. So this kind with the 200 EMA actually supporting that W, I will definitely take. All right, that is exactly how nice this was. Look at that. Same thing that happens every time, guys, just a different day. Look at that. Nice first leg, nice second leg, and it's all sitting at the 200 EMA. On this day, there is no setup. Like I said, this hasn't moved much, so that's why you don't have a setup. And it might reset, it might do anything, I don't know. Now look at your ID50 right there. You've got your nice peak formation, all right, and then you've got a nice ID50 right there. I did trade this ID50, even though I do not like ID50s that do not break the neck of M's and W's. But the reason why I traded it, it's because it was a 15 minutes ID50 as well. So that's the reason why I traded it. All right, so this is it, guys. These are the pairs that we traded this particular week, and it was a very good week as well. So I really enjoyed, and I hope you guys stay tuned as well. I'm not going to discuss this BTC, but you guys already know about this because I sent you the flashcard. I'll keep on sending you flashcards and showing you the kind of trades that I take, and also what exactly do I look for, so that you guys can also improve yourself. This is all about you guys, and I'm doing this for you. Please make sure you pay attention, you watch this video to the end, and you also back test. Do not forget to back test everything that I teach you. These charts, the old data is there for you to back test. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.